Namaste. Today I'm going to read Volume 1, The Glory of Shiv Puran, Chapter 7, the Shiv Puran. Om Vakratuna Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nidaviganam Kurumideva Sarvakayesu Sharvata Om Ekadantaya Vidmyam Vakratundaya Dimitono Danti Pachora Om Gam Ganapatina Om Gam Ganapatina Om Gam Ganapatina Yadivi Sarvadesha Vidyaravinna Samshrinamasasana Namo Jagamata Vidyaparanima. Hari Om Tat Sat. Chapter 7, Description of Do's and Don'ts to those who take up listening to the Shiva Purana as a rite and that of the worship of the discourser. Saunaka said, O Sutta, Sutta of great intellect, thou art foremost among devotees of Shiva and the most blessed. Thou hast narrated this wonderfully auspicious story. O sage, please tell me the rules governing those who perform the rite of listening to Shiva Purana for the benefit of the whole world. Sutta said, O Saunaka, listen with devotion to the rules governing those persons. If you hear the excellent story with due observance of the rules, the fruit is excellent and there is no obstacle in the achievement of the fruit. Persons devoid of initiation are not entitled to listen to the story. Hence, those who wish to listen must take initiation, O sage, from the discourser. The devotee must take up this rite, shall take his daily meal only at the end of the daily discourse. He must observe brahmacharya, celibacy, during those days. He must lie on the ground and take food only in the patravali, a number of leaves stitched together to serve the purpose of a plate. The man who has the strength in abundance shall observe fast till the conclusion of the whole Purana and listen to the excellent Shiva Purana with great devotion and purity. He may drink only milk or ghee throughout and listen to the story with pleasure. He may live on fruit diet or take a single meal or even eschew that and proceed with the listening rite. Or he may take havisyana, cooked rice soaked in ghee and sacrificially offered once a day and maintain the rite. The diet part is according to convenience and comfort, but the listening shall be strictly maintained. If there is more facility in hearing, let the devotee take food. If observing fast causes hindrance to listening to the story, it is not to be recommended. The householder taking the rite shall avoid heavy, indigestible pulses like nispava, masurika, etc., stale food, defiled food, brinjals, gourds, radish, pumpkins, coconuts, garlic onion, asafoetida, intoxicating beverages, and all kinds of meat. He shall avoid the 6 base feelings of lust, anger, etc. He shall not despise Brahmins and bear ill will towards chaste ladies and good men. He shall not look at women in their menstrual period. He shall not converse with fallen people, nor talk to haters of Brahmins or unbelievers in the Vedas. The householder shall practice and strictly adhere to truthfulness, purity, mercy, restraint in speech, straightforwardness, humility, liberal-mindedness, and other virtues. The householder may listen to the story with any specific desire cherished in his mind or absolute free from any desire. If he has any desire, it will be fulfilled. If he is free from desire, he shall attain salvation. Any and any indigent person, a consumptive, a sinner, an unfortunate person, and a person having no child shall hear this excellent story. The 7 types of wicked women, like Kakavandya, a woman having a single child, and those suffering from miscarriages, shall hear the story. Whether women or men, all must hear the story of Shiva Purana, or stage in the manner prescribed. The days of discourse on Shiva Purana must be considered very excellent, even on a par with millions of sacrifices. Gifts duly bestowed on these excellent days, even though they may not be much in quantity, yield everlasting benefit. Observing the rites thus and listening to the great story, the flourishing householder shall delightedly perform the Udyapana rite at the end of completion. This Udyapana rite is on par with the Chaturdasi rite, observed on the 14th day of the lunar month. Rich men who wish to secure the fruits thereof must perform it likewise. Indigent devotees usually do not and need not perform the Udyapana rite. They are sanctified by the listening alone. Pious devotees of Shiva are free from desires. After the festive celebration of the sacrifice of the discourse on Shiva Purana is thus concluded, the listeners shall perform the worship. O sage, due worship must be performed in front of the book in the manner of the worship of Shiva. A fine new cloth to cover the book and a strong silken cord to tie it up must be given. Those who give silken cord and new cloth for the book of Purana become yogins endowed with knowledge in every birth they take. Many kinds of valuable objects, cloth, ornaments, vessels, and much wealth in particular should be given to the discourser. Those who give carpets, deerskin, cloth, elevated couches, and planks to keep the volume of Purana on attain heaven, enjoy all desirable pleasures, stay in Brahma's region for the duration of a kalpa, and finally attain Shiva's region. After performing the worship of the book, as stipulated, O foremost among sages, and also that of the discourser with great eclat, the scholar who had been appointed assistant should be duly honored in the same manner, but with a smaller sum of money. Food and monetary gifts and other things must be given to the Brahmin visitors. A great festival must be celebrated with vocal and instrumental music and performance of dances. The listener shall gradually become detached, and especially on the next day, O sage, the holy Gita narrated by Shiva to Ramachandra must be read. If the listener is a householder, he must perform Homa with pure havis, holy ghee, for tranquilizing the rite. The Homa must be performed with Rudra Samhita or with each verse of Gayatri, for in fact this Purana is identical with it, or with the Mula Mantra of Shiva of 5 syllables. If he is incompetent to perform Homa, let him give the ghee offering to a Brahmin. In order to suppress the defects of deficiency and excess, he shall either read or listen with devotion to the 1,000 names of Shiva. Undoubtedly thus, everything shall be fruitful, and the fruit too shall be excellent, since there is no greater thing in the 3 worlds than this. He shall feed 11 Brahmins with honey and milk, puddings. He must give them dakshina also to complete the rite. If he is competent or sage, he must make an image of a lion with 3 pillars of gold, and either engrave the name of this Purana on it or affix a label with the name written on it. He must worship his preceptor. He must worship his preceptor of great restraint with the gifts of cloth, ornaments, scents, etc., and hand them over to him for appropriating Shiva. O Saunaka, by the power of this gift and of the Purana, he shall secure the blessings of Shiva and be freed from the bondage of worldly existence. If these rites are performed, the Shiva Purana shall yield entire fruit, enjoyment of worldly pleasures, and salvation. Thus I have narrated to you the greatness of Shiva Purana that bestows every cherished desire. What else do you wish to hear? The Shiva Purana holds the mark of distinction among all Puranas. It is highly pleasing to Shiva. It wards off the ailment of worldly existence. Those who are always engaged in the meditation of Shiva, those whose tongue adores the attributes of Shiva, and those whose ears listen to the story of Shiva, cross the ocean of worldly existence. I seek refuge in Shiva, the great of infinite thick-set bliss. Shiva, whose form is unaffected by all the 3 gunas. Shiva, who manifests himself within and without this world, within and without the mind. Shiva, whose form is variously evolved by mental ideas and verbal expressions. Here ends today's reading of the Shiv Puran. Footnotes. Pancharana mantra. Namah Shivaya. This mantra, consisting of 5 letters in Devanagari script, is dedicated to Shiva. And here ends the last chapter of the glory of Shiva Purana, the Shiv Puran. Om Prabhu Prananatam Vyuvam Veshwanatam Jagannatanatam Sarananta Bhajan Bodhipatam Boyeshwaram Bhutanatam Shivam Shakaram Om Kapura Karam Karanapratam. Om Tvaya Mata Chapita Tvaya Bandusha Chasaka Tvaya Vidya Dravinang Tvaya Savam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.